I want you to be brave. This is going to take courage. It won't be easy, but it is better than silence. We have a choice. We have a voice. Some things are hard to talk about, but these are the things we need to talk about if we want them to change. We need to talk about them to prevent them from happening again. Systemic racism, genocide, hate. These are some of the largest killers of the world, and it is our responsibility to help humanity and stop it. Racism is taught. It is a learned behavior. People are not born with this way of thinking. What racism does is put up barriers. It puts up barriers to prevent people from dignity and equality. And even more appalling, it can lead to genocide. The deliberate killing of a large group of people, of a particular ethnic group or nation. We remember the Holocaust, the World War II genocide, 1941 to 1945. Nazi Germany murdered over 6 million Jewish people. This was done by mass shootings, starvation, gas chambers, and more horrific things. We need to remember this was done legally through systemic racism. The Rwandan genocide began April 7th, 1994. It was a mass slaughter of the Tutsi people. Over 70% of their population, gone. In 100 days, 1 million Tutsi people were lost. And in our country, we have a cultural genocide, and most Canadians are not aware of the truth. In the 1800s to 1996, First Nation children were taken from their homes and put into residential schools. They were taken from their families, their culture, their traditions. They were forced to live in terrible living conditions with no love. They could not speak their language and use their true names, or they would be severely and cruelly punished. Many were physically and sexually abused, killed and buried in unmarked graves. Some died of exposure trying to escape. The 60s scoop, where thousands of Indigenous children were taken from their families and adopted out across Canada. They lost their names, their heritage, their identity. Many were abused and shamed for who they were. The missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls of Canada. The National Inquiry for the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls found that Canada has and continues to engage in race-based genocide. Today, there are over 80 First Nation communities under long-term water advisories. No clean drinking water, and the people are getting sick. This is the danger of racism. It is always attacking in new ways. It is a sickness, and we must stop spreading it. We need to respect our differences, not erase them. Intolerance and stereotyping still exists in our society. If we allow discrimination or injustice for anyone, it is unacceptable. We must protect our human rights. So, I ask you to be brave. If you witness someone who is attacked by racism, use your voice. Help them. Do not ignore this and allow it to continue. Use your courage to fight hate with love and respect. Together, we can defeat racism. Our first step is understanding and education. This is our opportunity to create a new path, to teach a new way. We have a choice. We have a voice.